Angie Casey and John Williams. Weeknights at 6 and 10 on WTVY-TV.
When I asked this little boy, did Konyi and his people force you to kill other people?
No.
He says he's killed a fair number of people. Some we beat to death with logs, others we shot. Some we chopped up with machetes or bayonets. Did you ever tell them you don't want to kill? He told me, if you refuse to kill, they kill you. So I killed to save my life. Where on earth is this happening? Tonight, we'll take you there.
No country in the world fields a better Olympic baseball team than Cuba. They're the pride of the island. But slowly and surely, they're becoming Castro's embarrassment. More than 30, some of his best players, have defected to the U.S. Players like Livan Hernandez, last year's World Series most valuable player. Why? Yankee freedom. And, of course, Yankee dollars.
In the name of academic freedom, anything can be said and done on campuses now.
Dartmouth, for example, queer theory, queer text. At Brown University, unnatural acts, lesbian and gay literary and cultural studies. At Stanford, homosexuals, heretics, witches, and werewolves, deviants in medieval society.
So what we have here, in fact, is the degeneration of an academic forum into a platform for lesbian sex, for public sadomasochism, for anal sex, bisexuality, and masturbation.
I'm Mike Wallace.
I'm Morley Safer.
I'm Ed Bradley. I'm Steve Croft.
I'm Leslie Stahl. Those stories and Andy Rooney tonight on 60 Minutes.
How do you separate knowledge from noise? Call Invesco. 38 no-load funds, 65 years experience, a global perspective. You should know what Invesco knows.
Another breakthrough from the 1 Hour Labs of LensCrafters. New Invisibles anti-reflective lenses from LensCrafters reduce glare, so you can see better while driving at night. New Invisibles, only at LensCrafters, made in about an hour.
Where will you be when your pain reliever stops working and your arthritis pain comes back? Only Aleve can stop your arthritis pain all day long with just 2 pills. No other pain reliever can do that. Aleve, real relief, is all-day relief.
Budner, get these tax documents to our clients fast, but watch our costs.
FedEx can deliver it in 2 days for up to $11. UPS can deliver it in 2 days for up to $11.
Priority Mail can deliver it in 2 to 3 days for $3.
Smart move, Budner.
So, 11, 11, 3, what's your priority? Priority Mail from the U.S. Postal Service.
A lone gunman. A government conspiracy.
FBI were involved.
Were there orders to kill Martin Luther King? 48 Hours, Tuesday.
Tonight, CNN's Christian Amanpour on special assignment for 60 Minutes from Uganda, one of the countries President Clinton will visit in Africa this week. A word of caution. Some of the scenes are not easy to watch.
Some of the most damning evidence of how one religious fanatic mutilates the bodies and disturbs the minds of thousands of African children are the sketches they make and the stories they tell when they finally escape his clutches. He is Joseph Kony. He leads a rebel army of abducted children who are brainwashed into becoming vicious killers. It's been going on for 12 years now, but hardly anyone knows about it, even though President Clinton will visit that country, Uganda, this week. This boy is a soldier forced to fight in the world's most bizarre guerrilla war. And these children have just been rescued from the battlefield, scarred and still shell-shocked. they'll be trading in their tattered rags for second-hand clothing. And once they've gotten something to eat, they can start to tell their harrowing stories. Charles is 13 years old. Did you ever tell them you don't want to kill? Did the commanders send the little children like you into the front, onto the front lines ahead of them? Did they threaten to kill you? Do you know how different your childhood is from the majority of children in the world? Joseph Kony, the deluded tyrant who believes his word is the word of God, uses these children on his crusade to topple the Ugandan government and replace it with one based on the Ten Commandments. He's kidnapped 8,000 children to be foot soldiers in his Lord's resistance army. Thousands have already been killed. Those lucky enough to be captured alive end up here at a rehabilitation center that must heal their bodies and their souls. Beatrice Arak is the children's counselor. She asks them to draw their most painful experiences. These sketches are the first key she'll use to unlock their private trauma.
The first step is burning houses. This one is the second one, abduction with brutal treatment like the beating. This is the third one, cutting of the people just when they kill them using the knife on their neck. This is the fifth one. That's when they chop their head using the bayonet from the gun. And then this one is the last one, just shooting at people when they try to run and they just kill you.
Joseph was kept in Kony's camp for 8 months before he escaped. Most people expect children to make nice drawings, but your drawings were very sad. For an army that kidnaps children into its ranks, there's an unending supply of fresh recruits in the isolated villages and schools of northern Uganda. But they took all of them, you see? Early one morning here at St. Mary's Catholic School, Sister Rakele discovered 139 of her girls were missing. In a split second, this frail Italian nun made the most important decision of her life. She and a fellow teacher would follow the rebels.
He said, "Sister, let us go to die for our girls." This was his answer. Let us go to die for our girls.
For the next 3 hours, they traced candy wrappers discarded by the rebels until they met the column of 200 fighters.
I will never forget what I saw. Young children of 12, 13 years.
Who were guarding your girls?
Yes, girls and all of us. They were having necklaces of bullets.
Then, the rebel commander offered Sister Rakele a deal worthy of the devil himself.
He bent down, and on the ground he wrote, "The girls are 139. I will give you 109, he wrote. I keep 30. I knelt in front of him. And I said, "No, please give me all the girls? He said, no. Then they started, sister, they will rape us tonight. Sister, will you come back tonight? Sister, can you bring us the toilet tissue? Sister, I'm in my period. I cannot remember the moment. And some of them just look at me like this without, imploring with their eyes, that I could do something for them. I couldn't do anything else. That was the last time I saw them.
All of us were there.
Agnes was one of the girls who had to stay behind. What were you thinking when you saw her walk away with those 109 girls and you were staying there? What did you think then?
I thought I was now going to die.
To break their spirit, the rebels forced the new recruits to descend to their level of brutality. Did you take part in punishing a girl for trying to escape?
All of us were made to do so.
What did you do?
They gave us the firewood to beat her, and you beat her and pass, beat her and pass.
So you have to beat her?
Yes, quickly.
And
you
walk
come
by, and
then
somebody else
walk.
beats
Yes.
the girl. And did she die?
She died.
What do you think about having been made to kill somebody?
I'm okay at times.
At times?
But at times I could think of her.
You still think of her?
Yes.
You see her face?
Yes.
The week we arrived, the rebels descended on this village. They went from hut to hut one night, grabbing the children as they slept, and they took off with 24 of them. Now, the parents here are desperate. They're caught between rebels they can't fight and a government that can't protect them. Did you lose a child in this raid? You lost 5 children in this raid? What about the government? Shouldn't the government be able to help you?
It has been over 10 years. The government can't help us. Just ignore.
They ignore you?
They ignore us. They don't care.
The man he says doesn't care is Yoweri Museveni, the president of Uganda. We've talked to parents whose children have been abducted, and they basically say that the government, your government, cannot protect them.
Well, they are right as people who are in a short-term crisis. But in the end, we shall solve this problem.
Joseph Kony, the rebel leader, claims to be a Christian, wants to bring the rule of the 10 Commandments to Uganda.
They are liars. They have no 10 commandments. There's only one commandment, that is to kill in order to loot.
But when you attack them, you are basically attacking children who they are pushing to the front line.
Yeah, that's true. That's the case. But many times when we attack them, the children get time to escape. Of course, some may die in the crossfire.
And that's exactly what happened while we were in Uganda when government troops ambushed a rebel column. But the army also managed to free this group of children, some forever marked by their rebel captors.
They sliced off the ear with a knife.
Slicing off an ear with a knife is a tactic the rebels often use to terrorize the rest of the population. What happened to you? The rebels cut his foot because he was riding a bicycle. That's because on a bicycle, someone can inform on them faster than on foot. You have no lips. What happened to you?
I was cut by rebels.
You were cut by the rebels?
Yes.
Someone without lips can't report on the rebels, and without ears can't hear their secrets.
You know, the story of Uganda has been a violent one.
Dr. Matthew Lukwia knows all about the rebels' secrets. He was once their captive.
This ward is basically for war injured.
At Luchor Hospital, Dr. Lukwia deals not only with the wounded, but also the frightened. Every night, the hospital turns into a refugee camp. 10,000 villagers sleep here because they're too terrified to sleep at home.
They come for protection. You know, here we have a wall around, and then we have also security around the hospital. So it's the safer zones, really, within the district.
There's a lot of bad, evil, violent things that go on in this world. But here, in your corner, it just seems to have gone to another level. This brutality against children, particularly.
The war has to be stopped in whatever way, politically, discussion, and so on, because if you are unable to stop abduction, then you must stop the war. All of us, not only the army, but all of us are failing to protect these children.
I chant grace. I joke Catherine, our Father.
Every night at St. Mary's, the children who have returned from captivity pray for their classmates, and so many other boys and girls, still prisoners, still in danger. Sister, for 10 years, these kind of abductions were going on. Why did it take so long for this to come to public attention?
I don't know. I know that I feel responsible also for the silence. We started talking, moving, doing something only when they took our girls. It is a crime to remain silent. I think the world must do something.
You eat right.
Uh-huh.
You exercise.
Every day.
With your high cholesterol, aren't you afraid of a first heart attack?
Why do you think I eat right and exercise?
Still, that might not be enough to prevent a first heart attack.
That won't happen to me. Won't happen to me.
But it can, because if you have high cholesterol, you could be at risk of a first heart attack.
So what else can I do?
Talk to your doctor about Provocol now. Lots of medications can lower cholesterol, but with Provocol, there's more. Provocol lowers cholesterol and is the only drug of its kind proven to help prevent a first heart attack.
So I can really help control my risk?
Yes, in fact, Provocol can reduce the risk up to 1/3. Provocol, when used together with diet and exercise, has been prescribed for millions. It's not for people with liver problems or women who are pregnant or nursing or may become pregnant. Your doctor may do blood tests to check your liver function, because serious side effects can result. Tell your doctor about any muscle pain or weakness you experience while on Provocol. For information, ask your doctor or call us. Provocol, proven to reduce the risk of a first heart attack up to 1/3.
Gobi's been with me for years now. I think we make a good team. He knows more shortcuts than most cab drivers. I feed him Alpo.
Now Alpo has 50% more beef. It helps build strong muscles, and dogs love the taste.
I take care of Gobi. I plan on having him around for a long time.
Alpo with 50% more beef, because a great dog deserves Alpo. From Friskies.
Earl, what's today?
Sunday.
Well, what's that?
A FedEx truck.
Earl, what's FedEx doing making deliveries on Sunday?
You think we're the only ones working hard on Sunday?
Now FedEx delivers on Sunday because the world works 7 days a week.
Well, back to the grind.
Sunday delivery from FedEx.
They were female war heroes saving American lives, but then they were attacked by our own soldiers.
I was raped in Vietnam.
The hidden casualties of war in the public eye Tuesday.
CBS Wednesday. When a U.S. attorney promises to protect a witness, she vanishes.
I want my witness.
David Caruso is U.S. Attorney Michael Hayes. Then, pain fumes can kill you, and one doctor is terrified her daughter could be next.
Have you been sniffing? Don't you know it's poison?
A dramatically different new Chicago Hope, CBS Wednesday.
It's been confirmed those 9 Cuban defectors who'd been missing at sea are safe in the Bahamas. 5 of them are, in a way, Fidel Castro's most valued assets, 4 baseball players and a coach. Baseball in Cuba is much, much more than a game. It's something approaching a national faith. The men who escaped had been banned from playing for the sin, or at least the suspicion, that they wanted to defect, to play for the enemy, the U.S. Major Leagues. One of the first people they spoke to once they were safe was a sports agent we'll meet tonight. They and the dozens of players who've defected before them may be an embarrassment to Castro, but to many Cubans, they are the pride of the island. It's something in the blood, the national identity. Cubans have been playing baseball for over 100 years, and just about everyone, including Castro, learns from birth the rituals of the faith.
That's one game where the ump really has to be careful. Viva Fidel!
The Cuban national team is the country's pride and joy, the top amateur team in the world. They won 9 out of the 10 Olympic Games they've played in. Cuban fans have plenty to brag about.
Everybody talks about baseball. Everybody thinks about baseball.
Milton Jamil, a professor of political science at the University of Texas, is writing a book about Cuban baseball. Tell me, what do you think would happen if the embargo ended tomorrow and there was easy access now between Cuba and the United States?
If that happens, Cuba will become the #1 source of foreign players in the United States almost overnight. These are good baseball players from at every level.
They aren't just born that way. Cuba has developed a sophisticated training system that identifies potential stars as early as age 9. And by the time they're teenagers, many are in specialized baseball schools, playing all the year round. The best-known product of that system is Livan Hernandez, the pitcher for the Florida Marlins, who was the most valuable player in last year's World Series.
He just didn't grow up in a field throwing the ball around and hitting guavas with a stick. I mean, he was trained as a baseball player.
Livan Hernandez is just one of a growing number of ball players who've defected, who've chosen Yankee dollars and freedom. And most have done it with the help and encouragement of this man, Miami-based sports agent Joe Cuba. In the past 3 years, 20 players have followed Joe's siren song. Why so many players defecting now?
Many reasons, but primarily because they have found someone who could take them to the promised land.
And that man is?
The last couple of years, it's been me.
The players call him El Gordo, the fat one. He calls himself the Shadow, stalking the Cuban national team whenever it plays abroad. He slipped pitcher Rolando Araujo a towel containing a cell phone just before the Atlanta Olympics. The call came, and in the middle of the night, Rolando slipped from his minders, and Joe sped him away. In Mexico, he convinced these 3 players to meet him in a cemetery, and they were on their way to America's ballpark. Do you get a particular rush, a particular kick from living on the edge, from some of the dangers involved in this kind of agentry?
There's a tremendous amount of adrenaline flowing. There's a tremendous rush when you're able to pull that player out and assist the player, and you're in the process of getting away from the security people at the baseball team. There's a tremendous feeling. And the most important thing is to see that player's face. When he looks back and he says, no more fear, no more communism.
And no more top salary of $20 a month. Rolando Araujo's phone call with that cell phone Joe gave him resulted in a $7 million contract with the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. Osvaldo Fernandez signed with the San Francisco Giants for almost $5 million. As for Livan Hernandez, Joe got him a $6 million contract with the Florida Marlins. Joe's cut, 5%, plus the pleasure of kicking Castro where it hurts. How does he describe you?
I've heard words as a vulture. I've heard words that I don't have any talents of my own, that I feed off the talents of the Cuban players, and that's fine with me. I mean, the worse things he says about me, the better he makes me feel, because I don't agree with him on any issue or on anything at all. He should get the hell out.
Cuba's director of baseball, Carlos Rodriguez, calls Joe a flesh peddler and says he and others like him are counter-revolutionary trash.
They know that baseball is a sensitive area for this country. Their motivation with these defections could be to place a stain on Cuban baseball and on the revolution.
If a man has been caught trying to defect, what happens to him?
None of the players have been caught trying to defect. There were players who were accused of talking with an agent, and then they were banned from baseball. For a baseball player in Cuba, not being allowed to play is pretty severe.
Levon Hernandez's brother, Orlando, was one of those who wasn't allowed to play, stuck in Cuba and banned from baseball for life after the government accused him of plotting to defect. He's known as El Duque, the Duke, the winningest pitcher in Cuban history, a hero of the '92 Olympics. After he was banned, he thought he'd never pitch again.
It was like taking away somebody's soul, you know? And that's what he does.
Steve Fainaru, a writer for the Boston Globe, traveled regularly to Cuba and became friends with El Duque.
I mean, this guy was, I don't want to say he was like Michael Jordan in Cuba, but he was a prominent figure. And he became almost sort of a, you know, he was like an internal exile in a way.
Then last December, El Duque, his common-law wife, and 6 friends, including 2 other players, did what thousands of other Cubans had done, boarded a leaky boat and made a run for it. Joe Cubas waited for the call. They made it as far as the Bahamas, where they were put in a detention center for refugees. El Duque knew he'd get out. He's a famous ball player. But he feared his friends were in danger of being sent back to Cuba unless they got visas to another country. Enter Joe Cubas, the great liberator. Visas could be Joe's middle name.
Mi petición.
He dictated the letters of application for political asylum.
Razones humanitarias.
Costa Rica said welcome, and all 8 of the defectors were released. Joe whistled up a Lear jet, and this merry band was on its way. But Joe, what do you say to people who say, look, that's great that you get these ball players in, you get the visas, you ease the way. What about those hundreds of thousands of people who aren't ball players? Is it fair?
Well, whether it's fair or not, I'm not the person who is going to decide that. Unfortunately, I'm not a god. I wish I could help every single Cuban that comes up.
In Costa Rica, they joined a group of other baseball defectors who were part of Joe's stable. How important is baseball to you, to all of you?
To me, it's the male son that I never had. I have 2 daughters, and baseball is my son.
What do you think Fidel Castro thinks of you guys?
Well, I know exactly what he thinks about me. He thinks I'm a mercenary. If he calls me a mercenary, I tell him, I say that he's a devil.
What do you think he thinks of Joe?
Joe? The only thing he's done is to help us take a step towards freedom.
Freedom and a lot of money. If these players had gone straight to the United States, they'd have been forced to be in a baseball draft, in which all new players are assigned to a team, and the teams virtually dictate salaries.
Let's go. Let's go. Well, let's go. I want you to run.
But by going to Costa Rica, they became free agents, which meant that they, or more exactly Joe, could negotiate with any team for any price.
The rules are that if a player of Cuban nationality obtains residency or legal status in a third country, those rules state that that player must be treated as a free agent.
As a drafted player, El Duque might get a couple of $100,000. As a free agent, possibly millions. But could he even play? He hadn't pitched in almost 2 years.
How are you, Papa?
Dozens of big league scouts turned up at this rickety ballpark.
You got a show going here, huh?
This field of dreams in Costa Rica to look over the goods. What do you hear from these scouts?
Well, there's a great deal of interest.
There were 6 players to look over, but all eyes and all radar guns were on El Duque.
I mean, he's a 32-year-old guy who hasn't pitched in 2 years and hasn't been seen out of Cuba in 3 years, and nobody really knows whether he can pitch or not. And so all these people of all these teams have come to Costa Rica, flown all the way to Costa Rica just to see him throw a couple innings. It's amazing to me.
And were the scouts amazed? The man from the Yankees, What's the Yankees' interest, would you say? Very interested, mildly interested, or cool?
I would say we're mildly interested.
Of course, scouts are paid to sound dubious. You're the Angels, correct?
Yes, sir.
What do you make of this young fella?
Well, I really can't say a whole lot right now. We have a company policy that our evaluations stay within the organization.
Dealing with you guys is like sometimes dealing with the CIA, I got to tell you.
Well, if I tell you, then my competition's gone.
Will it come down to a kind of auction in a certain way?
Yeah, it'll come down to a bidding war. Always does.
What do you think you're going to get for Duca?
I don't want to put a figure on him yet.
You don't want to put a figure on him yet because you want these guys to engage in a little feeding frenzy first, right?
Well, that's what makes up America. Free enterprise, a free competitive atmosphere.
And how much do you think you're going to make here?
If 2 pesos come in, great. But I know that I'm going to live much better than in Cuba.
I think you might make more than 2 pesos. I was right. Remember that Yankee scout who said,
I would say we're mildly interested.
Mild interest in baseball talk equals $6.6 million over 4 years. That's the deal Joe agreed to, and the Duke is now a Bronx Bomber.
It's maravilla, maravilla.
Marvelous, it's marvelous.
With pesos like that flying around, minus Joe's cut of 5%, this next question is kind of naive. Do you have plans to bring out more players soon?
My plans are to help every player that is willing to defect.
And in fact, Joe is in the Bahamas tonight, seeing to the refugees and possibly getting some new clients.
From roommates.
Nothing has changed, Felix. I'm still a pig. You're still a human vacuum cleaner.
To in-laws.
We're going to a wedding, my daughter and his son.
The road to friendship.
Don't get physical, Felix. I'm too old to hit, but I could spit you to death.
You two don't get along too well, do you?
Keep getting odder.
Open the window, will you?
It is open.
Jack Lemmon, Walter Matthau, The Odd Couple 2.
Didn't you fix that yet?
Rated PG-13. Sneak preview Saturday, April 4th at theaters everywhere.
Imagine a place that surrounds you with elegance and pampers you with luxury.
Williams, the car, please.
Presenting the Infiniti QX4. An elegant luxury car.
Williams, while we're young.
In a Sherman tank kind of way. The QX4. Own one, and you'll understand.
This allergy season, catch some air like never before, because now there's Allegra. Allegra is the prescription antihistamine for people 12 and over that gives you non-drowsy relief so you can experience more. Discover the amazing freedom of Allegra. In studies, side effects were similar to a sugar pill and included drowsiness, cold or flu, nausea, and menstrual pain. To learn more, ask your doctor or call now. Allegra.
60 Minutes, a CBS News magazine, will continue.
Tonight.
Your child has Down syndrome.
We can't have this baby. Can a special angel help save a family? Chris Burke guest stars on Touched by an Angel. Then.
Ladies and gentlemen, I just won the lottery.
Nicolas Cage, Richard Fonda, Rosie Perez.
The cop gave a waitress a $2 million tip.
It could happen to you. CBS Tonight.
He's being fired for teaching Shakespeare. The university says it's a form of sexual harassment. Sexual harassment? What's going on? Eye on America, Monday on the CBS Evening News.
The address is CBS. Welcome home.
Ed Shearling makes you one promise. They'll better any advertised price on any Model Ford. So get your best price and bring it to Ed. Find rebates available or great financing as low as 1.9 APR. All new 97 Ford Rangers, $1,750 rebate. All new 97 regular cab F-150s with low 5.9 APR for 60 months. All new 97 Explorers, 3.9 for 60 months. Ed Shearling will better any advertised price on any Model Ford, guaranteed. Ed Shearling Ford, Glover Avenue at the Bypass Enterprise.
Riding along in my automobile. My
my baby beside me at the wheel. We're cruising and playing the radio with no particular place to go.
The really scary thing is, you're probably paying the same amount for car insurance as they are. But at AIG, we insure better drivers, so we ensure you get better rates.
Jeff Sanders has the latest forecast tonight at 10.
It may surprise you that before we begin this report on a growing field in academia, that would have to give you a parental warning, but you should be on notice that some of what you're about to see, indeed some of what is being taught on college campuses today, is for mature audiences only. So, with that word of caution, time was, and not too long ago, the hot subjects on college campuses were black studies, Chicano studies, women's studies. Today it's something called, by the people who teach it, queer studies. Studies that explore sexual identity, sexual ambiguity, sexual fantasy, and gay history. It is also known as gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender studies, and today it's being taught at some of the top universities in the country. And it's not just the classes that are provoking controversy. At the State University of New York at New Paltz last fall, the Women's Studies Department organized an academic conference called Revolting Behavior, the Challenges of Women's Sexual Freedom. And to some who were there, that is just what it was, revolting.
This conference was a travesty of academic standards and a travesty of academic leadership.
Candace DeRusi, a trustee of the college, was there.
I am embarrassed to describe how, in fact, lurid the conference was. It featured the sale and the free distribution of pornographic materials, including information on how to dispose of one's razor blades after, quote, bloodletting sexual activities. So what we have here, in fact, is the degeneration of an academic forum into a platform for lesbian sex, for public sadomasochism, for anal sex, bisexuality, and masturbation.
If students are interested in what these subjects are, best to study them in a safe, protective environment such as the academy.
The college's president, Dr. Roger Bowen, has been under intense criticism for permitting the conference to take place. The conference that included the distribution of pamphlets like the one I read to him, titled Safer Sex Handbook for Lesbians.
For safe penetration, use a slippery, lubed-up latex glove to enable...
Needless to say, we cannot read all of it.
...to safely rock her into a frenzy. Please give me a break. This is the academy?
You can focus on that, if you wish. And it is titillating, and it is provocative, and it's even insulting in many ways to our moral sensibilities, and I understand that.
Yeah.
But we had 21 workshops, 19 of which were academic, very conventional, given by respected scholars in their field. The larger issue is about academic freedom and protecting the First Amendment within the academy.
In the name of academic freedom, what we have here sometimes is, in fact, academic license. The notion that anything can be said and done on campuses. Now, no subject is taboo.
The same topic is being explored today. University of Minnesota, University of Iowa, University of Virginia, Yale, Brown, NYU, some of the top quality colleges in the country.
So we went to visit some of the top colleges in the country and found that indeed students are discussing in classes sexual practices and pleasures, homoeroticism in literature and history. Dartmouth, for example, offered queer theory, queer text. At Brown University, unnatural acts, lesbian and gay literary and cultural studies. At Stanford, homosexuals, heretics, witches, and werewolves, deviants in medieval society. Professor George Chauncey, who teaches a gay history course at the University of Chicago, told me it wasn't so long ago that a class like his was virtually impossible.
Was there reluctance in academia, if you will, to get involved with this?
Oh, definitely. The
Academy has been one of the last places to take up these questions.
Questions, for example, which take a closer look at the sexuality of some of America's greatest heroes.
Probably the best example of that is the case of Abraham Lincoln. Lincoln, before he was married, did live with another man, Joshua Speed, for 3.5 years, and slept with him, shared his bed for 3.5 years, and their correspondence indicates that they had a very close, intimate relationship. And so, on the basis of this, some claim that Lincoln was a homosexual. Well, I don't think he can be called a homosexual, but at the same time, I don't think we can call Lincoln a heterosexual either. The point, it seems to me, is that Lincoln and many, many other men and women who we know more about in the 19th century were operating in a very different emotional universe than we are today.
The effect of homosexuality on society has become a legitimate focus of study.
Eliza Byard, a PhD candidate in history at Columbia University, runs her own queer studies group on campus.
If you want to understand certain moments in American history, you will understand those moments better if you see all the dynamics in play. For example, the fall of Joseph McCarthy, the Army McCarthy hearings, 1954, a moment when this man who had terrorized American society for 4 years was finally brought down. One of the major tools at the disposal of the Army lawyers at that moment was homophobia. They could look to the relationship of Roy Cohn and G. David Schein and imply that these men were lovers.
Cohn and Schein were Senator McCarthy's principal aides at the time.
And that moment of humiliation and insinuation is one of the key moments in the downfall of Joseph McCarthy.
But gay history is only one aspect of these sexuality studies. At the other end of the spectrum, we found more debatable scholarship in courses like this one at Duke University.
A woman is defined as the human being who is penetrated by the man who is defined as the human being who does the penetration.
Professor John Younger teaches an English seminar called Perspectives in Lesbian, Gay, and Bisexual Studies as part of a new program he directs at Duke in the study of sexuality. On this particular day, he was talking about power and inequality in sexual relationships.
In lesbian terms, I'm talking about the butch-femme combination, and in male homosexual terms, I'm talking about the sadomasochistic, where we are taking a kind of realization of a power inequality, and we are going to then exaggerate it and play with it, so that for the S&M male relationship, they'll have black leather costumes and leather chaps, and they'll have whips and chains, a little bit of pain, and so on and so forth.
You would just think that the power resides in the person who plays the role of the man who does the penetration.
Let's say the top, put it that way, top, bottom is the normal terms for this.
What?
Top and bottom. Penetrator, penetratee.
Okay.
It was difficult for me to understand how this discussion belonged in a college English class.
I'm not sure still what changes this from a rap session about sexuality into academia.
What I'm trying to do is to give some concepts with which students can then start looking at this very complicated social issue. There is no one viewpoint. I think we've all been, in a sense, a victim of one viewpoint.
I asked these students in that Duke class, all of whom identified themselves as straight, why they chose to take a class like this.
One of the reasons why I'm taking the class is because I want to learn more about the social structure of the country, and as a minority and a female, you know, I can understand the minority issues that the homosexual community has to face.
Some of the theories that are introduced in class are sometimes off the wall, and I get frustrated just discussing something so absurd.
So absurd?
Yes, like we discuss different theories as to explaining why people are gay. And I disagree with almost all of them.
What kind of theories do they give as to why people are gay?
Well, there's one theory I remember in particular saying that women were more prone to be gay than men because we are around our mother and we're raised by our mother, and we kind of get this attraction toward women due to our mother's love.
Here what you have is a coterie of politically motivated people who are attempting to use the university as an ideological training ground.
Roger Kimball, managing editor of the conservative journal The New Criterion, is among the most outspoken critics of this latest trend on campus.
Every week we get another report saying, gee, our student body they're terribly uneducated. They don't know who Winston Churchill was. They've never read a novel by Charles Dickens. Every week you get a new report about how disastrous things are in education. And at the same time, what you have here is the total politicization of the curriculum at many places. Elite places.
Wait. Total politicization?
Well, let's put it this way. Extreme politicization of the humanities.
Students aren't required to take these courses. They can choose or reject whatever they want to do.
That's why one has teachers. We have to give students what they need, not what they say they may want.
There are a lot of students for whom this kind of study is exactly the transforming experience that they need from education.
Rutgers English professor Michael Warner is a pioneer in what he himself calls queer studies.
Many of the things that we're studying are fundamental to the culture, like the concept of pleasure or the concept of consent. These things are key terms in our law, in our philosophy, in our ethics, in our self-understanding, and they are best understood by inquiring into the diversity of sexual practices and pleasures.
Professor Warner, I think that you'll agree that most people who are looking in at this moment will tell you that sadomasochism is deviant, doesn't belong in anyone's
They will
classroom.
say that in one context, but Americans also know that people have all kinds of sexual pleasures, and sadomasochism is not confined to some peculiar fringe minority. It sells products, it's in music videos, Madonna has made a whole career out of it, and people know in that context that it's a perfectly ordinary thing, or not ordinary maybe, but at least pleasant thing. And the fact that they contradict themselves in other contexts and say, oh, it's deviant and it's horrible and objectionable and no one should be allowed to talk about it in a university is a sign of deep contradiction, unrecognized conflict, and ill-thought-through assumptions.
It's my understanding that much of sexuality studies is being driven by people who are themselves gay.
Well, that's true, and there's a pretty commonsensical reason for it, which is that we're the people whose lives are organized by the need to overcome the stigma, by the need to find dignity in difference, and we find each other through a shared world organized around sexuality. So it makes sense that we've thought a lot about it, and that's finding expression now in a lot of academic work.
And in academic conferences like this one last month at the University of California in Santa Cruz, organized by the Gay, Lesbian, Bisexual, Transgender Student Association. The program included panels such as compulsory meat eating and the lesbian-vegetarian connection. There was a photography exhibit of transsexuals, women who became men, including the photographer himself.
You know, I've met so many transsexuals through this process of photographing them, and it's just been an incredibly rich experience.
And we sat in on a workshop called Latex Lovers, a workshop on queer women, safe sex.
This sort of thing has no place in a university. After all, students have 4 years, 4 unrepeatable years in which they can immerse themselves in, as Matthew Arnold put it, the best that has been taught and said. Is this a good use of taxpayer dollars, a good use of parents' dollars?
We're not just saying, give us some space, tolerate us. We're saying, you don't really understand how impossibly conflicted this culture is on the subject of sexuality. So we really, I think, are putting the ball back in the court of straight culture, so to speak. And that's what makes people nervous. That's why we get so much flack.
Men, is gray hair sneaking up on you, right under your nose?
It is sneaking up on me. Here, too.
You need Just for Men gel. Brush in, and in 5 minutes, rinse.
It's the sure thing for a natural look.
Just for Men gel.
I need to feel strong.
I need him. Because we all need something different to feel our best, One A Day has created different formulas. One especially for women, one for men, and one for people over 50. One A Day. It's just what you need.
Judy, Roger from Jupiter wants you to call.
Hold it. No long-distance calls till I make sense of these rates.
Mother! Why don't you go to the Sprint store at Radio Shack for answers, George? Please!
I hate it when she does that.
Wow! Phones, answering machines, and long distance.
But what's it going to cost?
The Sprint is simple, just a dime a minute, evenings and weekends.
Really?
Great. Now you can call Roger.
Roger who?
Oh, boy.
The Sprint store at Radio Shack. You've got questions, we've got answers.
Introducing the amazing four-wheel drive RX 300. Not just another SUV. It's like no other vehicle on Earth.
Last year, over 52 million viewers were captivated by The Last Dawn on CBS.
To show a little respect.
This May, welcome back into the family.
I live every single day with you. There's no way out.
The saga continues where The Last Dawn left off in the most anticipated television event of 1998. Mario Puzo's The Last Dawn 2, coming to CBS this May.
You may have noticed that Andy wasn't on last week. I'll let him explain.
I hope you noticed I wasn't on last week, and I hope you didn't notice that 60 Minutes was #1 without me. I mean, that isn't going to help when I try to renegotiate my contract. I can't complain, though. After all, CBS is a business, and soap operas have always made more money than what I do. I haven't seen Primary Colors, the movie about a thinly disguised politician like Bill Clinton. I don't know how they could have made it. Any movie has to have a hero, and it has to have a villain, or it isn't any good. With actors playing the part of characters like Bill Clinton and some of the people he's been involved with, who plays the part of the good guy? Several reviewers complained that Ed Bradley was too soft interviewing Kathleen Willey. I thought he did a good job. You have to remember, Ed Bradley is not Mike Wallace. For one thing, Ed's a lot nicer guy than Mike is. Can you imagine how the interview would have gone if Mike had done it?
But they call you arrogant and cruel, sexual maniac. You were difficult. How many blacks are there on your top campaign staff, Governor?
I couldn't honestly answer you. No.
That speaks for itself. The butcher Amin, you help? And you talk about human rights? President Sadat of Egypt calls you a lunatic.
You have to admit that if the president did put the moves on Kathleen Willey, he showed better taste than he has in the past. The Sergeant Major of the Army, Gene McKinney, got off scot-free with the sex charges 6 women made against him. He was reduced just 1 grade in rank, that's all. Nothing, really. Same thing happened to me when I was in the Army. I was a recruit making, I think it was $60 a month. After 3 months, I got to be a regular private at $120. One day, the first sergeant saw some books under my bunk and ordered me to get rid of them. I jokingly told the sergeant he was just sore because he couldn't read. That was a mistake on my part. I mean, I was young. I didn't know first sergeants don't have a sense of humor. I was reduced 1 grade, back down to recruit. A lot of people have asked me what I think will happen to President Clinton. Well, I'll tell you, I don't think his punishment will be anywhere near as severe as Sergeant McKinney's was. After all, if President Clinton is reduced 1 grade, he'll still have a good job. He'll be vice president.
Following our interview last week with Kathleen Willey, in which she described what she said was an unwanted sexual advance by President Clinton, aides to the president released 9 letters Miss Willey had written Mr. Clinton after the alleged incident, as well as details of phone calls she made to the president. In the letters, Miss Willey's tone is flattering and friendly. She tells the president she is his #1 fan. Others assign fondly Kathleen, leading many to wonder how upset she could have been by her encounter. We asked her about that this week, and she said, "The president was my best chance of getting a job, and I didn't want to lose that contact." She said she wrote the letters because she wanted to put this incident behind her and stay on good terms with the president. Finally, about whether Kathleen Willey tried to sell her story to a supermarket tabloid and to a book publisher. Willey's lawyer assured us before our interview that there was no deal with anyone. However, it turns out that there had been conversations about a deal that fell through before she was interviewed by 60 Minutes. As is our practice, we paid her nothing, and she asked for nothing. I'm Ed Bradley. We'll be back next week with another edition of 60 Minutes. Now here's a look at what's coming up this week from CBS News.
And this Tuesday in the public eye, American nurses served with honor and courage in Vietnam. Now, years later, some are charging they were raped by American soldiers. Public eye, Tuesday.
I'm Dan Rather. Tuesday, on a special 48 hours, were there orders to kill Martin Luther King? New conspiracy questions and the answers.
Budner, get these tax documents to our clients fast, but watch our costs.
FedEx can deliver it in 2 days for up to $11. UPS can deliver it in 2 days for up to $11.
Priority Mail can deliver it in 2 to 3 days for $3.
Smart move, Budner.
So, 11, 11, 3, what's your priority? Priority Mail from the U.S. Postal Service.
Whatever kind of car or truck you drive, now's the time to drive it to Sears. Right now, all Goodyear tires are on sale. Get great savings on all Goodyear tires, like Wranglers, Aqua Handlers, or Eagles. Or get our best-selling Goodyear tire, the Weather Handler, for as low as $19.88. All Goodyear tires on sale. It only happens twice a year, so get in, get tires, and get rolling. Sears Auto Center.
Sun is rising.
It's a great day for the comfort and convenience of changing tint Transitions lenses. Indoors, they lighten. Outdoors, they darken. So lightweight plastic Transitions lenses are right in any light. Make the change to Transitions lenses and see for yourself.
It's a great day.
Transitions lenses, right in any light and right for you.
Go farther.
The completely reinvented 205 horsepower Isuzu Rodeo.
The countdown continues for the wedding of the year, but will Fran be married without children?
I want to throw up and be sick, and not just because I opened my Visa bill.
All new Nanny, CBS Wednesday.
This May, CBS presents 28 nights of special events, including The Last Dawn 2, from the author of Love Story, Only Love. Jamie Lee Curtis in the world premiere movie, Nicholas's Gift. Plus a touching tribute from the one who knew him best, Cher Remembers Sonny. The first Touched by an Angel movie, The Wedding of the Year on The Nanny, and the primetime special, CBS The First 50 Years. Don't miss a minute of May on CBS. Experience CBS News.
Tax alert, don't cheat yourself. Make sure you take all the deductions you're allowed. Some money-saving guidelines on what you can and cannot do, plus your latest weather.
This week
on This Morning.
You've worked your whole life to make everything just right. You've built friendships, you've made a life and a family together. And then, suddenly, you are alone, with difficult decisions left to be made about a funeral. It doesn't have to be that way. Making funeral or cemetery arrangements ahead of time is easy, and our planning services are free. Discuss funeral pre-arrangement with us, and we'll make sure you don't have to do it alone. Call today.
This is CBS.
What if your child gets sick at 2 in the morning? Well, every Harco is now a Rite Aid drugstore, which means you can talk to a pharmacist day or night just by calling 1-800-RITE-AID or visit one of our 24-hour pharmacies. You're even protected from harmful drug interactions by our LifeCheck computer. Yes, Harco is now Rite Aid. Your drugstore just got better.
Brown sugar, how come you taste so good? Oh, yeah. Brown sugar, just like I knew you would. Watch out for the new Pepsi can. Whoa! Pepsi, Generation Next.
The address is CVS.
Welcome home.
Believe me, I'll walk with you.
You eat right.
Uh-huh.
You exercise.
Every day.
With your high cholesterol, aren't you afraid of a first heart attack?
Why do you think I eat right and exercise?
Still, that might not be enough to prevent a first heart attack.
That won't happen to me. Won't happen to me.
But it can, because if you have high cholesterol, you could be at risk of a first heart attack.
So what else can I do?
Talk to your doctor about Provocol now. Lots of medications can lower cholesterol, but with Provocol, there's more. Provocol lowers cholesterol and is the only drug of its kind proven to help prevent a first heart attack.
So I can really help control my risk?
Yes, in fact, Provocol can reduce the risk up to 1/3. Provocol, when used together with diet and exercise, has been prescribed for millions. It's not for people with liver problems or women who are pregnant or nursing or may become pregnant. Your doctor may do blood tests to check your liver function, because serious side effects can result. Tell your doctor about any muscle pain or weakness you experience while on Provocol. For information, ask your doctor or call us. Provocol, proven to reduce the risk of a first heart attack up to 1/3.
Just because I wear makeup doesn't mean my clothes have to.
Revlon creates Color Stay, makeup that looks just applied all day and won't rub off on your collar.
Or on him.
Revlon's oil-free Color Stay makeup. Revlon. Now go beyond soft to silky with new Caress Moisturizing Body Wash. It has 3 moisturizers. Caress hydrates, replenishes, and smooths for one beautiful silky feeling. New Caress Body Wash.
The best way to stop suffering from allergies is never to start. This is Nasal Crom. You heard right. Nasal Crom. It's allergy prevention. Nasal Crom doesn't just relieve allergies. It flat out prevents them, preventing the natural defenses in your nose from going haywire. So you can live like a person with no allergies. Nasal Crom's like nothing else. No drowsiness, no jitters, no dependency. Nasal Crom. The best way to stop suffering is never to start.
CBS Wednesday. When a U.S. attorney promises to protect a witness, she vanishes. I want my witness. David Caruso is U.S. Attorney Michael Hayes. Then, pain fumes can kill you, and one doctor is terrified her daughter could be next.
Have you been sniffing? Don't you know it's poison?
A dramatically different new Chicago Hope, CBS Wednesday.
So, that's it. That's what we have to face.
And Bill and Joanna are at the doctor's right now.
And it could go either way.
I'll take care of it. Excuse me.
Cass? Who's the specialist that we called in?
Taylor.
Oh, Taylor.